There is one game we all play, and that game is called real life. Not everyone is good at it, but some of us are. Real life is an open world game with endless possibilities. And after all, only the uncultured spend their day-to-day life in just one country. So join me in my life of leisure as I explore the best games for the handheld around the world. So I find myself right here in Philadelphia, the home of Rocky Balboa. The first thing that come to mind was I wanted to make a review about a boxing game today. I first thought about doing Rocky, but then I thought the angry video game nerd already has that area completely covered. Then I thought maybe I would talk about my favourite coin-op boxing game, Ring King. But then I thought that doesn't really fit into my handhelds around the world theme I have going on at the moment. Then I thought maybe I should talk about the Punch-Out series, since it is probably the most popular boxing game franchise of all time. But then I thought that was a rubbish idea, as apart from the series being overexposed, there has never been a handheld Punch-Out game. Of course outside the 3D NES remake in the Nintendo eShop, that is. So going on from here, I had to dig deeper, and I discovered a fantastic little gem on the Nintendo Game Boy Advance. The Game Boy Advance is extremely loved and well known for the amount of classic remakes that were released on the system. We got a slew of Mario games remade, we got Link to the Past again, the Donkey Kong Country series, and loads of Mega Drive games, just to name a few. We even got a ton of NES games released on the system. However, one game that never saw a re-release on the system was the original Punch-Out! For those that have never played Punch-Out!, the game is a thing of beauty and is an extremely addictive and fun boxing title. We may not have received a new Punch-Out! Game or remake on the GBA, but that did not stop Destination Software and Inferno Games from creating a good homage to the title, named Wade Hixtons Counter Punch. Counter Punch isn't quite up to the level of Nintendo's classic boxing games, however, the game does a bloody good job of trying. Also, this game was released in 2004, a few years prior to the new Punch-Out! Game on the Nintendo Wii, so the franchise had been absent for 10 years since the release of Super Punch-Out! On the SNES in 1994. Let's start now by looking at the game's story. Like in Punch-Out!, you play as a lovable underdog. The star character you control's name is Wade Hixton. He is a simple-minded hick, but despite his intellectual limitations and obvious learning difficulties, the man packs a bloody hard punch. In my opinion, Wade has a little bit more substance than Little Mac, and he is more than an everyman Rocky Balboa-esque underdog. Instead, Wade is a hilarious slack-jawed, mullet-sporting hillbilly. As the game's story goes, Wade, an unknown, unimportant boxer, is on his way home from a monster truck rally when his car breaks down in the middle of nowhere. Despite his excellent duct taping job on the car's various engine parts, the car is dead, and Wade has it towed to a garage in a nearby town of Big Piney. Big Piney is no ordinary town, however, it is a boxing town. It seems that every single resident of Big Piney either boxes or is involved with boxing in some way or another. As you play, you'll work your way up through the Big Piney boxing circuit, earning cash, learning new moves, and gaining respect as you go. To be fair, I have seen a lot of towns like that around the Dartford Bridge area back in London. Bloody travellers on every corner trying to pave your front garden or steal your copper piping. Bloody tinkers. Now let's talk about the gameplay itself. As you work your way through Big Piney, you will encounter an extremely colourful roster of characters. This is my favourite kind of roster, to be fair. Characters and racial stereotypes in every match. It reminds me of being back home and competing in the British wrestling circuit. Some of these opponents include a slick-talking boxing promoter named Don, an angry tribal native, a demon with a penchant for barbecue cooking, a bubbly raver girl, a 400-pound bloody silverback gorilla, and an unintelligible pimp named Sweetness, who is blatantly based on Snoop Dogg. You know this game is great if you get to punch Snoop in that skinny, drug-ridden face of his. Like most travellers as well, you often find yourself getting into fights with Joe Public on the streets. You encounter an array of non-boxing characters, such as fighting your mechanic who works on your car, the local bartender who also refs all of your fights, and a washed-up homeless former boxer who teaches you a thing or two about dirty fighting. I bloody love this game. It's basically the gypsy version of Punch-Out! Do you like Dags? Like Punch-Out, the characters' dialogue fit perfectly with the ridiculous gimmicks. And although it isn't all John Cleese goose-steppingly hilarious, overall the game's bizarre sense of humour works really well. With regards to the controls, Counterpunch definitely shows its inspiration in a number of key areas. The boxing mechanics are wholly simplistic, with basic punches taking up the A and B buttons, and right and left uppercuts available to you via the R and L buttons. As you box, typically your best strategy is to block and dodge as your opponents punch, then run in, get in a 4-punch combo, and repeat until your opponent has hit the mat. An extra feature in which is new to this title is that you can earn more cash through matches, and you can hit up various training facilities around Big Piney and purchase new special punches that you can use to decimate your foes. These special punches become available as you build up a special meter underneath your life bar, and once they peak, you can deliver a massive wallop. Of course, your opponents have their own unique gimmick special attacks, which you must look out for during a match, and each is as deadly as your own, if not more so. Like the Punch-Out of old, Counterpunch relies heavily on quick reflexive actions on your part, and you have to act fast to dodge or block in the correct direction, then throw down your own punches. The degree of difficulty of the fighters also spikes higher and higher as you go along, until you get to the final boxer, who is a nod to the simply unstoppable Mike Tyson. Like in the original Punch-Out, this fight is ridiculously difficult. Counterpunch is a little short in depth, as essentially it's no more than a loving tribute to Punch-Out. However, in the graphical department, it far exceeds anything previously seen in the Punch-Out series. The game's graphics are simply a joy to look at in every conceivable way. Counterpunch has a sort of hand-drawn look to it, and though most titles that try to employ this style animate rather stuttery and generally look kind of bland, Counterpunch pulls it off beautifully. I sometimes moan about GBA games graphically looking very similar, however this game really does stand out graphically. The in-ring action all animates incredibly well, and the characters are bright, colourful and beautifully designed. The game also features lots of minor visual touches that further pay homage to the Punch-Out series, such as the between-round menu screens, which harken back to Punch-Out in a blatantly obvious but extremely cool way. All the songs through the game represent each character perfectly. As far as the audio is concerned, the game's soundtrack is superb both technically and stylistically. I believe that Wade Hixtons Counter Punch is as good a hidden gem as any, and I strongly believe that if the game was branded as a Punch-Out game, then it would be seen as a strong entry into the series. This game's incredible sound, visual, sense of humour and affection towards one of the greatest boxing franchises of all time certainly make this one definitely worth a play. Cheerio! Rocky? Rocky was here. Bloody Rocky was here. Rocky, I can tell you, is a bloody fictional character. I am a real man, and I really am here. So I would advise Philadelphia to get rid of these stupid footprints and put mine there instead, and have it wrote Top Hat Gaming Man. Yeah, that would make much more sense, wouldn't it? In fact, these steps right here are really, really annoying because you've got idiots running up and down, up and down, up and down, up and down them all the time. They bloody think they are all Rocky around here. It's absolutely ridiculous. But when I look at them, there is absolutely no chance they could beat Apollo Creed if he was a real person. All a bunch of bloody dreamers.